Hey, happy Thursday, day after Christmas, everyone. My apologies for the lack of updates and content. Dude, I was I think on the last video, you kind of heard I was dealing with like some cold stuff. But then I hurt myself, man. Yeah, I hurt myself. Um, I lifted up a really heavy box. And when I put it down, my back was like, bro, are you serious? And right now, I have a back brace on. I've been wearing it for like the last week and a half, and the back brace is like fixed my posture and then made my legs hurt because I kind of been walking wrong this whole time because I got bad posture. So let me tell you something, man. I just been kind of screwed up, and then the holidays and everything, kiddo out of school. I just been a little slow on content. So quick updates. That Razer MX350, I'm gonna make a separate video for that, having everything to do with the wiring diagram and the switches and all that. There's two versions of the controller kit that goes on the MX350s. And so that's kind of why I was struggling with it a little bit until I got the proper controller and switch kit. And so I'll do like I'll go on my computer and do a video on that stuff, and then show you guys the wiring diagram and show you the differences between the two. So it was a little bit confusing, but we got that on that bike all squared away. Now, I don't think I've done anything on this one yet. I got this scooter a couple weeks ago. A guy got it for free from a buddy of his, and he was just like, "Man, if you can get this thing working, man, you can." He's like, "You could take it if you're going to try to get it working." So he took it, and he's the neighbor of the dude who had the cyber quad. So he hits me up. I go and pick it up, man. He, paid me out for the stuff to go and get the parts and all that. So I'll show you what we did. This is a 1,000 watt Uberscoot. So this is like kind of like the kid version of the 1,600 watt Uberscoot. All right. So I'll give you a whole rundown of what we had to do. I had to put in a new key ignition because the old key ignition, he didn't have any keys for it. So we had to put a new ignition in there. And you had to do some rewiring for the plug, but we got that all squared away. I don't have a battery plugged in right now. It's actually right there because we had to build a new battery too. So I'll get to that in a second. So we had to put a new key ignition in. The neck was really wobbly, so we had to do new bearings in the neck, right? Um, then this stuff was like it just needed some TLC, man. The brake rotor was bent to hell, and so I had to literally bend it back, right? I had to bend it back into shape. And I think I did a pretty damn good job. You don't hardly see any wobble, but I swear it almost looked like a taco shell, man. It was bad. And just everything was off on the back. So we got that all aligned. I got the chain back on and aligned. Everything was all aligned and going. I've already rode this, right? Let me tell you what the final boss of problems was on this. It has to do with the charge port. The other thing that he didn't have was a charger. So that was one of the parts that we also got. Now, let me show you what was going on with this, okay? Originally, I guess for the charger that came with this, so the positive is on port 1 and the negative was on port 2. When I got the new I'm sorry, port 3. So it was 1 and 3. So positive was on 1, negative was on 3. I got the new charger and it would not charge. And I'm like, dude, what the hell? So I had to pull this thing out, get the multimeter, right? So I plugged this thing into the charger and then I tested the ports. So I knew this was positive and negative was actually on 3. I'm sorry, 2. So on the new charger, it's ports 1 and 2 that actually charge. Whereas on the old setup or the old charger that came with the scooter, it was actually 1 and 3. Kind of weird, right? So um, what we did was just resaw. I just snipped it from 2, put it on 3. I'm gonna hit it with some hot glue, seal this all up, and then we'll be good to go. Also, new battery. We had to wire up a new put a new harness on all that right there. So we're all squared away now. So just so you know, for future reference for anybody, if you have one of these chargers right here and you plug the charger in and it does not charge, it could be because there's actually 3 ports on it, and you got to just check to see where they're at. So what you do is you plug the charger in, and then you hit it with a multimeter, and then if you go positive here, negative here, you'll get a reading of 42 volts, which you should get because it's a 36-volt setup, right? So just a little tip: if you get that kind of issue, really what it has to do with, it has to do with where the actual positive and negative lines line up with the charge port. Okay, because there's actually three little plugs right there, and I had to cut it from the bottom one and then put it over here. Sorry for the janky solder job. I just needed to get that all squared up, and then I'm going to give it a good dose of hot glue to seal that up. But there you go. So this 1,000-watt Uberscoot is completed. It is fully rebuilt. We rose it back from the dead. And this is a nice little scoot. This one does like 25. The 1,600-watt does about, I'm sorry, no, this does 20. And the 1,600-watt does about 35. But this is actually for kids, really. It's actually for kids. But there you go, man. Just giving you guys a quick little update. It's been a minute. Like I said, man, I screwed myself up royally. But we're good to go here. So there you go. 1,000-watt Uberscoot, full rebuild. Once again, new key ignition, new new neck bearings because it was all super wobbly. So we got new bearings in there now, as you can see, and everything's all good to go there. And like I said, the final boss of issues was the charge port, but we just tested it and it charges the battery now. So once again, heads up, if you have one of these ports, you plug the charger in, you get a new charger, and it does not charge, more than likely you're going to have to switch this around. Okay, so easy way to do it is to, let me see if I can just go ahead and demonstrate it. I got to work with 2 hands here. So basically, here's what you do: plug this into this, then you take your multimeter, and then you're going to test it. You're going to put the positive here, and then you're going to put the negative down here, right? And the multimeter will tell you whether like where it needs to be. Okay, so there you go, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace out.